Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here with your guide to the M20 pre-release, just in time, considering some of you had one 6.5 hours ago. Actually, geez, in other time zones, it was like yesterday. But I was busy with other stuff. My schedule is such a disaster zone that FEMA showed up to it because I'm working a 40-hour week job and I hate it. Hey, speaking of hating things, before I get into the spoilers, Corpse Night. Okay, this is one of the promos from the promo pack. It's a 2-2 for 2. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. Very annoying, overpowered, I hate it. But you know what's even worse than a 2-2 for 2 with that effect? A 2-3 for 2 with that effect. Whoops. So when some people started catching this and inquired to Wizards what was going on, their answer was, it's supposed to be a 2-2. But then other people were saying, but I got the non-promo one. I opened a pack of M20. Mine says 2-2. To which they clarified, it's a regional thing. Just certain areas of the country or areas of the world, I suppose, although it's in the English card, they got a wrong one. Theirs says 2-3 by accident, which strongly suggests that they knew about it. They actually probably originally intended this to be a 2-3, realized it was broken, and changed it in the middle of the print run? I mean, you can't just say, the printing company made a mistake. The printing company prints the damn PDF that you send them as a proof, or like a TIFF file or whatever. So at some point, they either caught that their proof had a 2-3, and I mean, it only takes a couple days to print these cards, so they told them, wait. So like they only made the mistake on day 1, but then how did they catch it just then? I don't get this. It's odd. But anyway, this is the pre-release guide, and at the pre-release, if you open one that says 2-3, it is factually a 2-2. You have to play it as a 2-2, not what it says on the card. So heads up about that, and don't be a dick. Don't basically use it to cheat, where somebody's like, I'll block your 2-2. Why did you even swing with it? And then you're like, actually it's a 2-2. The second they play it, just say, FYI, that's like a typo or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. It's a waffles of the toast breakfast screw up. How about that? Let's call it that. And FYI, that's a 2-2. You have to play it as a 2-2. And they'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? And then just pull up this image. So big thank you to user Ocean Breeze who posted this on Reddit. We're super not going to ask where you already got a promo, since none of the promo packs should have been opened yet, if I'm not mistaken. Which I could be. I don't follow this stuff at all. Oh, by the way, if you're confused by what I said earlier, this was the first pre-release thing where they were going to let people hold it at 3 o'clock on a Friday. And a lot of stores by me did. And normally I'd be like, yay, I can not stay up from midnight to 5 a.m. I'll turn in at 3 like I normally do. Hey, Steam Summer Sale, okay? There's no time to sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And specifically, I'll sleep when this boss in Baldur's Gate is dead. But it would have been nicer for my schedule. Except, as I keep mentioning, because I hate it, I just got a 40-hour week job. And in case I didn't mention it, I closed down my shop, and now this is my number 1 competitor in the city, and now I'm working for them. That's like how retired I am, like how much of a crap I don't give. I was actively trying to put them out of business and talking crap about them, and then I closed my shop, and I'm like, I don't care, I'll work there, who cares? That is the fastest 180 that's ever been turned in human history. But anyway, I was working until after 3 today, so you know what? You can take 3 o'clock and shove it straight up your ass, Wizards. People got work to do. Not everybody's a retired ass YouTuber like me, formerly. I mean, I guess it'd be great for kids and teenagers who don't have summer jobs because they're not in school in some countries. So that kind of sucks, but my store is actually just saving the staff money and not doing a midnight one. So I'm actually not going to one today at all because I can't. I'm going to one tomorrow afternoon. So I guess you'll have to wait an extra day for the post-game report, which apparently people are requesting, even though it's the lowest viewed series on my channel by far. I'm not kidding. I did 2 cooking segments and they got more views than that. So I don't know what I think about it, but I would love to hear what you guys think about it moving to 3 o'clock and what your store did about it. Oh, and if you went to one, what the attendance was like and what the demographic was like age-wise. I don't care what color the people were, just age. So anyway, to jump into the cards, these are the absolute best power cards that you can pull at the pre-release, but only the commons, because if I start pointing out mythics, I was surprised the mythics are good. I mean, shocker. Oh, gee, guys, this is a really good card. Did you know that? Did you notice? But the thing is, you're not going to open that card. The odds are astronomical, but you're going to open 10 or 11, I honestly don't even know what they're doing this time, some large amount of commons in every single pack. So like, yeah, uncommon's cool, it's only 3 per, and then the odds of them being on color with your pool, not really worth covering. The bread and butter, the core of your deck is going to be commons. You are going to win the game with commons. I mean, probably you'll just bomb them with a mythic, but it's only 1 out of 40, first of all, and secondly, you're probably going to use backup from the common slot, like combat ambushes, counter spells, stuff to bring your best cards back from the graveyard, and that just bread and butter cards is in the common slot. So now that I've explained why there's nothing above the common slot, let's jump into it. One, we got Aerial Assault. This is a misleading card. It's amazing because it says destroy target tapped creature. Don't even read past that. You might think, oh, well, you gain 1 life for each creature you control with flying. I have 1 flyer in my deck. Well, this is useless. No synergy here. You blow up a creature for 3. Remember, you don't need to 100% use 100% of a card. You don't need to do that. If one of the 2 effects is good, go. By the way, there is an acronym that explains generally what cards are the most useful at a pre-release. I don't at all remember what it is. I'm probably going to forget some in it, but it's removal, because removal is king. Removal will win games. Equipment, because it's far better than auras, because you can move it around. It's that simple. They blow something up, you kill something in combat, cool. Move the equipment to the next creature over, and you've got mana coming out yours to pay the equip cost. So equipment, it's a durable boost. It's better than auras, better than instants, except for the lack of surprise. But, then again, surprise, I'm swinging with an 8-8 and you can't do anything about it. Like, that's a surprise too. It's just a different type of surprise. Oh, I just love surprise mechanics, guys. So removal, equipment, I think flying was on the list. It's really just removals, equipment, and like ambush instance. I thought it was a 5-letter acronym, but good enough. So next up we got Angelic Gift. This would be flying, of course. So enchant creature, it's an aura. This is not normally a good idea because they are going to wait and blow up your creature that has an aura. They get a 2-for-1 special. They use 1 removal card. You just lost 2 cards. But guess what? When Angelic Gift enters the battlefield, draw a card. So you're not really losing anything. I mean, you're losing the card, but who cares? You replaced it. You just went to the next card under it in your library and put it in your hand. So yeah, enchanted creature is flying, and then you replace it. So it's basically like a nothing cantrip. And honestly, 2 mana is pretty much nothing. So you could strap this to a small creature and just ping them to death, where you've got like a big creature on the ground and now a small creature in the air. One's hitting for 6, one's hitting for 3, and they only have 1 kill spell. What do? I mean, if you think I'm going to answer it, there is no answer. It's a terrible situation. I don't know. You lose. That's the answer to the question. So don't say, oh, it's even cooler than a 5-5, a 5-5 in the air. No, you are going to be a lightning rod, as they call it. It is going to attract every kill spell, removal spell, or whatever. You gotta split your threats. And this is a fantastic way to do it. And yes, there are exceptions where you're like at a standstill and just whatever, put it on your biggest creature. Next up, Bodacious Theif. It's a 2/2 for 3, and whenever Bodacious Theif attacks, you draw 1 card and lose 1 life. Oh, that's right, card draw. Card draw is one of the acronym things. Removal, equipment, flying, and draw. It spells refda. I know there's a 5th one, I just don't remember it, and I don't remember what it spells. So considering the sheer high number of turns that is going to be in the typical game, what's even better than card draw? Recurring card draw. What's even better than recurring card draw? Free recurring card draw that you don't have to pay any mana for. So, I mean, yeah, he's a 2/2, he's probably going to swing once and get killed, but maybe not. And, I mean, even if he does, it's still a 2/2 for 3. They had to use a blocker to kill it. Maybe they traded, maybe not, and then you draw a card off it, so you just replace him. So, like, either way, he's pretty good. Also, you might pull an instant speed kill spell or ambush boost while declaring him as an attacker, and then you can unleash it after they've declared blockers. Oh, or if it's a kill spell, not a boost spell, then do it before they declare blockers. Anyway, next up we got Blade Brand. It's a 2-cost instant. Target creature gains death touch until end of turn, and then draw a card. Absolutely amazing. So the rules are like if it's a +3/+0 instant, you're probably going to trade. Probably. If you granted death touch, you are definitely going to trade. Like assuming you sent in a 2/2 and they block with like a 5/5. I mean, if it's 2/2/2/2, okay, whatever. Just don't use the spell. But if they block with a bigger creature and the whole point is you're going to ambush them with something, like I said, +3/+0, you're going to trade. Death touch, you're going to trade. +1/+3, you might survive it. You might maybe kill them. I mean, you'd upgrade like a trade to a kill and survive, maybe. I really just don't like those highly defensive ambushes. They're just not very good. And then if it's a +3/+3, you're going to kill them and survive. That's the best way to think about it in general. And then the likelihood goes down as it goes to 2 and then 1, and it goes up if it's 4 or 5. So as a rule, this will be just a trade card. Well, now you're using one card and another card, a creature card, to trade one of their cards. I mean, yeah, if it's powerful, cool, but this could have just been murder. And then you don't lose a creature. The thing is, though, draw a card. That's what takes this from mediocre, like a fun, interesting trick, but you're probably going to run out of cards, to just devastating. Because you do not lose the card advantage. Next up, all of the lifelands. Even if you're playing monocolor, which by the way I wouldn't recommend, or if only one of your colors is black, you should probably still play these. They're hilarious. Not only will they mislead your opponent about what colors you're actually playing, but you gain 1 life. Imagine that. And in most cases, you don't have such a fast, tight-tuned deck that, oh, this land has to come in untapped. You'll probably have 1 or 2 of these in your deck tops. And so you could just play the mountain or play the swamp instead. So overall, these are just nice to have. It's just a nice little 1-point advantage. Next up, Bone to Ash. Yeah, it's a 4-cost double blue, but counter target creature spell. People are going to try to win with creatures. The majority of the cards in the set are creatures, but then draw a card. And that's why this is 2 mana more than Essence Scatter. But, I mean, a cantrip, you're sitting there holding it, boom, they try to drop in like a 5/5. Counter it. Yay! Except you traded 1 for 1, and really the battle state is no better than it was before. I mean, you prevented something huge from dropping in, but now you're both short 1 card. Oh wait, Bone to Ash gives you a bonus card, so now you're not. Yeah, play this. Don't be afraid to play it. Next up, Brightwood Tracker. It's a 2/4 for 4, and if you pay 6, which you might think is high, but you'll get there, tap it, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is not exactly free recurring draw, but I always told people draw is draw, card advantage is card advantage. It's wonderful in general, but what's better than card advantage is drawing the cards you actually need. Drawing a card you don't need is almost worthless. You got a card you don't need out of the way. That is literally all the value you got out of that, which technically is benefiting from the draw itself, not from the card advantage. One strategy for winning the game is to have a lot more creatures than they do, and this will do it. So there you go. You might think, oh, a 2/4 for 4 with a stupid gimmicky effect that I can't light off until like turn 10. Oh, that's dumb. I'm not putting it in there. No, this is just like an army in a box. Play this card. Next up, Daybreak Chaplain. It's just a 1/3 for 2 with lifelink. So if you get this out turn 2, combat is over for like 2 to 4 turns easy. And then when they finally get something that can hit for 3 and swing with it, instead of you taking 3, you go up 1, setting them back even further and another full turn, basically. This thing buys you so much time, and then if you start strapping ambush boost spells, equipment, or auras to this thing, oh, so it's got a little bit of late game value depending upon your deck, but, I mean, even if you were to drop this in on turn 20, cool, it'll soak up 1 hit and give you +1. So it's not utterly useless if it's not in the beginning, but remember, you're playing with a 40-card deck, not a 60-card deck, so it'll show up a little bit more often. Next up, Disentomb. Shocker. It's a 1-cost sorcery that brings 1 creature card from your graveyard back to your hand. Early game, it's just, okay, bring back some obnoxious little Death Toucher, some little mid-sized thing. Maybe they traded and, oh, now your creature's back, whatever. Late game, your biggest, baddest threat that they finally managed to get rid of, now it's back. Yeah, you gotta cast it again, but guess what? This only costs 1. You probably have the mana, so this card's amazing. I am shocked that this is a common. Next up, Disfigure. This is kind of the opposite of an ambush, but it's in the same exact category. So it's instant speed. It costs 1. Target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. You can just outright kill something, or you can use it in the middle of combat to make their creature 2 smaller, which is virtually the same thing as making your creature 2 bigger. Either way, you can block with something significantly weaker and take their creature clear out. This is basically a removal spell. Combat ambushes, bread and butter. Speaking of that, God's willing. Instant speed, you can only target your own creature. Do not forget that. People screw that up left and right. But it's a 1-cost white, and target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. So, it can't beat the target, and if it's already the target, resolution will fail. Of like, we'll just say red. A red planeswalker ability, red source of damage in any way. The target of a red color identity ability, even if it isn't a planeswalker, like a spell. It also can't take damage from a red creature in combat. All damage is prevented. Lifelink is prevented. So you can use this as basically a white counterspell to stop your best creature from getting blown up. You can force a creature to survive combat. unless it was a trade, you're both going to still have your creature, but whatever. Or, I didn't mention the last one, it can't be blocked by then a red creature or mixed red creature. So you got your big 6/6, oh, but they got a big army of goblins. Cool, cast this, walk right past them. Goodbye. Oh, and did I mention scry 1? Because you can do that too at the end of the spell. It's not quite the same as draw a card, but I mean, it's 1 and it's white. Like, what do you want? Come on, geez. But if you scry and it's a land and you have 9 lands in play and you toss it to the bottom of your graveyard, or I mean your library, that is mathematically equal to drawing the card. Except that it's not in your hand, but who cares? If it's a bad card that you don't need, then it's a bad card that you don't need. It doesn't matter how you get it out of your way. It's now out of your way. So in some circumstances, this will be a very nice ability. Next up, Gravedigger. When it enters the battlefield, you return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, yeah, it's a 2/2 for 4, and that's crap, but late game, you'll have the mana, and you can bring back your biggest threat. Otherwise, this isn't very good. Wait, hold on just a damn minute. This is an uncommon. What the hell, Gatherer? I'm looking at the query right now. It says rarity equals common. Well, thanks for that. I think the whole 167 results should have tipped me off. So, breaking news, everyone. We interrupt this video to tell you that the Gatherer doesn't work. Okay, how many of these were uncommon? Oh, not that many. Well, I guess we're including uncommons too, because God's Willing, Disfigure, and Gravedigger were all uncommon. Whatever. If this is because the word uncommon contains the word common, I am going to punch somebody. Because that's not how databases work, okay? It's called enumeration. You store it as a numeric value. Anyway, next up we have an actual common, which is Growth Cycle. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. It gets an additional +2/+2 until end of turn for each card named Growth Cycle in your graveyard. So you may think, oh, well, I only have 1 in my pool, so I'm not going to do that because you would need like 4 of these. Hold up, friend. It's a 2-cost +3/+3 at instant speed. Screw the second ability. And if you do have 2 of these, wonderful. Remember what I just said earlier about +3/+3 being the king of ambushes because you'll survive it and kill them? This is basically a 2-cost green kill spell. Yeah, ignore the bottom. It's not important. 3/3 is big enough. It's that simple. Speaking of exactly the same card, basically, Infuriate. It's a 1-cost red. I'm infuriated that they actually printed this. And target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. That's utterly ridiculous for 1 mana at instant speed. Next, Inspired Charge. It's a 1 or 4-cost instant, double white though, so watch that. Don't necessarily throw it in a 2-color deck. That wouldn't be a good idea. Or 3-color, pardon me. Put it in a 2-color, oh my god. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. Now it's creatures plural, so this is more like I'm going to swing with everything, and guess what? Whatever goes past is going to hit you probably twice as hard on average. And your opponent's probably going to lose some creatures. Probably some of your creatures are going to live. It might elevate the blocking order to a trade. You're going to do some damage with this. It's not quite as like, oh, I'm going to +4/+4 something and I know exactly what's going to happen. This is like, let's just swing away and some bad things are going to happen to them and some of my creatures might still be there. Or remember, with all these ambush spells, you could just win the game outright. Like if they let something through, they let too many things through and you boost one of them or boost all of them, that's it, game over. So they're game winners while also being potential creature removal. They're actually better than direct creature removal. Next up, Marauder's Axe. I mean, big surprise, it's equipment. You get +2, doesn't add any survivability, but it's only 2 drop to equip, so just pass it around to everybody and everybody hits harder. Real simple. If they're dumb enough to do a trade block, like you have a 4/2 now and they block with a 2/2, cool, move it to the next creature and they can't do it again because their creature's dead. Next up, Mind Rot. I bet you discard is on that too. I think that's part of the acronym because people tend to hold cards like more, they hold more cards and for longer in sealed events than they do in constructed. So early game, just dominate the card advantage. You're getting rid of 1, they're getting rid of 2. Mulliganing is kind of high at this event. So that's cool, good way to start the game, turn 3, drop this on them, but otherwise you can nuke them late game, where they got their most powerful stuff and they're just waiting for color fixing, or like 1 more mana and then gone. They no longer have game-winning threats. This could single-handedly win the game. Next up, Moat Piranhas. I just love this. It's a 2-drop 3/3 with Defender. It's the same as the 1/3, except more lethal. You throw this out, turn 2, and combat is over for quite a while. They are not going to be able to swing past this for, boy, I'd hate to even assign a number of turns to it, but like probably 3 to 5. And then even turn 15, this is still out, and they dropped in like a 2/3. Oops, guess that's not going to participate in combat. And by then, they might not even be able to bring their 5/5 because now you can double block with something. So this won't win you the game, but it is a huge threat. Just don't put too many cards like this in your deck or you will not actually win, because at a certain point you have to actually hit them for 20. Next up, Moment of Heroism. It's a 2-cost white instant. Target creature gains +2/+2 and lifelink. So it keeps you alive even if it is a trade. You get a huge bonus out of it. This could be a game winner if they let something through and thought they would survive. Nope. And it's a nice little symmetrical one. 2 toughness and 2 attack. So yeah, you might get a little something out of this. I think you get some pretty good mileage. And if you don't, like I said, you'll gain a bunch of life and buy yourself a turn. Next up, Murder. Big surprise. It destroys a creature. Duh. Play as much removal as you pull. That's pretty much a rule. Next up, we got Oakenform. You enchant creature and it gains +3/+3, and it only costs 3. There's no restrictions at all. So it's not really like creature removal because they'll see it coming because it's not instant speed, it doesn't have flash. But at the same time, what are they going to do if you strap this to a 3/3? Does it matter that they see it coming? Probably not. But this is like the definition of 2 birds with 1 stone if they blow up the creature that does have this on it. But at permanently 3 more damage for 3, I would absolutely play this. And next up, actually, I think from here on out, I don't really need to explain any of these. They're just other iterations of what I already explained in the video. So Pacifism, it's a 2-cost removal, basically. That creature is effectively gone. That is one of the best cards in Standard right now, let alone at the pre-release. Then we got Phantom Warrior. This one's kind of interesting. It can't be blocked at all, and it's a 3-cost 2/2. So the second this comes out, they're dead in 10 turns, unless they want to burn a removal. And forcing your opponent to burn a removal on a 3-cost creature is incredibly good. It means they may not have one left when they need to blow up something bigger and more important. Although, well, more important, this is a game winner. Toss up. Then, of course, we got Mega Kitty, aka Prowling Caracal. It's just a 3/1 for 2. I mean, on turn 2, that is a lot of damage. You are going to force them to lose a creature. You don't even need a surprise ambush. It's like, surprise, you are going to die if you don't block this. Same thing, could be trading creatures. And then we got the opposite, Rabid Bite is back. A lot of these reprints are like hot. Like they're in Standard right now and they are red hot. Rabid Bite is one of them because it's a force fight, except it's not a force fight because they can't hit you back. You just deal damage equal to its power to a creature you don't control. You know what it does, come on. This crap is invented in like Eldritch Moon. The only catch is this isn't removal if you don't have a creature, but I'd say the same thing about Ambush. But your creature has to be sufficiently large to take their creature down. So be careful what deck you put this in. Maybe not like a blue mix. Then we've got one of the more fun ambush spells because it is and it isn't. It's an instant that generates 2 white soldier creature tokens. So you kind of just do this and then the bonus damage is with double blocking and stuff. So a little bit of like a suicide ambush, but I mean, it works. And if you should so happen to have them survive, you get creatures out of it. So I would put this a little bit above like a +2/+2 that costs 2 and is just a boost instant. Then we got Savage Gorger. It's a 1/1 for 3, but it's flying. And at the beginning of your end step, if an opponent lost life this turn, like for example by getting hit by a flying vampire, then put a 1/1 counter on Savage Gorger. This is one of those, hey, timer's ticking kind of cards. And like I said before, this is a 3-cost. If you force them to use one of their removals that they have very few of, and they're saving for a very powerful creature, you force them to use it on a 3-cost creature, they are going to regret it. I'd easily put this in the top 5 for cards at the pre-release. Next up we got Sedge Scorpion. It's just a 1/1 for 1, but it's Death Touch. I love this creature. This is like the 3rd or 4th reprint at least. You throw this out, combat is done. Something is going to die. At some point, they're going to have to try to flood swing, and you are going to kill something, and they know it, and you probably bought yourself 5 turns. Next up, Show of Valor. It's a 2-cost instant, and, well, speaks for itself. +2/+4. That is a very survivable ambush. Next up, Big Smelyape, aka Silverback Shaman. It's a 5/4 for 5, so you're probably thinking, oh, okay, it's the big bad, green dude that you bring him out and, you try to win the game. No, you try to get this killed. Swing away. It's a 5/4 with trample. Who cares? They're going to double block it and kill it or whatever. But guess what? When it dies, you draw a card, so who cares? This is mighty, mighty convenient for green spells, I gotta say. Then we got Soren's Thirst. It's a 2-cost double black instant, so, watch out for the colors on that. But it deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life, so gaining 2 life, that's always good. But also, I mean, you could do this before, after, during combat, doesn't really matter. All damage is cumulative and wears off at the end of turn. So if you did 2 damage with a creature, and then you do 2 more with this, boom, a 4 toughness creature is dead. The only trick in the middle combat is if you can cast this first and then hit them for like 2 more with first strike, and that's enough to kill them, and then they can't hit you back. Other than that, there's not much to this one really. But Take Vengeance, that's a different story. 2 cost, destroy target tap creature. There you go, do it. This kills anything but hexproof and vigilant. Oh, and indestructible. And next up we got a classic Titanic Growth. Love the giant cat. Classic card. There's a lot of these ambushes, so I think it's going to be a very combat trick heavy pre-release. But they're kind of split between the colors. But I'd say, boy, white probably has it. If you're playing white-green, you might as well just go all combat tricks and just throw in nothing but creatures and spells. Just indiscriminately, lowest curve possible. Throw in some flyers for backup and you got it. But yeah, +4/+4 until end of turn. Instant speed. This will take a small creature and let it kill anything. Hey, speaking of that, Uncaged Fury. This one's fun. I always thought this was sorcery speed. I don't know why. I remember it being that. But for 3 in red, but it's only single red, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains double strike till end of turn. So remember, it also gains first strike. So if you were to take a 2/2, turn it into 3/3, you can first strike a 3 toughness creature or less out of your way. Boom, you don't even get hit. Swing with an army of 2/2 tokens and they block most of them. Cast this on one of them, 6 damage. This is a game-ending ambush. And I would say in the right circumstances, the +1 instead of like +3 is made up for by the fact that it also grants first strike. And finally, a card that I personally underestimated last time, and they reprinted it again, Vampire Opportunist. So this is a 2/1 for 2. And it's really nothing special. It's a vampire tribal. Who cares? You can't get tribal going at the pre-release. It's basically impossible. But if you pay 7 and don't even tap it, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Late game, this is game ending. You just sit there, stall, don't care what creatures they have as long as you're not dead, and just win the game. It's basically an unblockable lifelink 2/2 that you have to pay way too much mana for, but you probably have nothing better to spend it on. So that is it. Quite a few spicy cards. I believe it was 37, which I think there's only like 110, 120 some commons in the set. So a lot of them are very good. Just hopefully you guys get the reason that they're good and limitations, what decks they have to go in. Just make sure you put all these cards into the proper decks. You can't just say, oh, Death says that's good, I'm putting it in. Gotta have the card support for it. Like if you got an ambush, you gotta have kind of mid-sized creatures or it's not gonna work. So thanks for watching. I gotta get to bed so I can actually wake up for the pre-release tomorrow, and I will see you guys next video. Oh crap, I have to edit this now.